All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're putting you in the hot seat for a super realistic internship project. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to figure out how to secure a whole fleet of Apple devices for a big company. Let's get to it.
Okay, picture this. It's your first day. You've got the new laptop, you know where the good coffee is, and bam, your manager walks over with your very first mission. This isn't just some textbook exercise. This is your first real assignment, and it's a big one. So here's the deal. The company's got employees working everywhere on MacBooks and iPhones. The problem? A bunch of those devices are way out of compliance. We're talking missed security updates, bad configurations. It's a huge risk. Your job is to come up with the entire plan to get every single one of those devices locked down and secure. Now, before you can even think about securing a system, you've got to understand it, right? So first up, let's get you familiar with the core security setup of macOS. This is your battlefield. You need to know the terrain inside and out. You've got this amazing layered defense built right in. Think of Gatekeeper as the tough bouncer at the club, checking every app's ID before it gets in. Then there's SIP, or System Integrity Protection. That's like a bank vault for the most critical system files. Not even the super user can mess with them. TCC is all about privacy, making apps ask for your permission to use your camera or files. And File Vault 2? It encrypts the entire hard drive, so if a laptop gets stolen, the data is just unreadable garbage. And this quote just nails the whole philosophy. Apple makes a very deliberate choice here. It might feel a little restrictive sometimes, sure, but it's all in the name of creating a much, much safer environment by default. It's kind of like a walled garden, but those walls are there for a really good reason. Okay, so you know the battlefield. But how on earth do you enforce security rules across, say, 1,000 different devices without physically touching each one? Well, that brings us to your secret weapon, Mobile Device Management, or MDM. So what is MDM? Honestly, just think of it as a universal remote control for every corporate device out there. It's the tech that lets an IT team push out security settings, install the right apps, and even totally wipe a lost laptop from thousands of miles away. It is absolutely non-negotiable for any modern company. This is such a perfect way to think about it. You've probably heard of zero trust in cybersecurity. The whole idea is never trust, always verify. Well, MDM is just that, but for hardware. It doesn't care that it's a company MacBook. It's constantly asking, is your encryption on? Is your software up to date? Are you running anything you shouldn't be? If the answer is no, then nope, no access for you. And here's what it can actually do. An MDM can automatically set up a new laptop right out of the box. Push all the right Wi-Fi and VPN settings, make sure everyone has a strong password, and this is key. It reports back to you on whether a device is following the rules. And yeah, if a device goes missing, you have the ultimate power to lock it or wipe it clean. It's your command and control center for the whole fleet. All right, enough theory. You get macOS security, and you've got your secret weapon, MDM. Now it's time to actually execute the plan. Time to get this internship assignment done. So, your manager needs 3 specific things from you. First, an audit, what's actually broken right now. Second, a set of policies, how are we going to fix it? And third, a diagram to show everyone how it all fits together. Let's knock these out one by one. Your first job is to be a detective. You can't just start fixing things randomly. You need to know exactly what you're dealing with. And that means you're going to build a simple, effective checklist to see how secure or insecure every Mac in the company really is. And here's what that looks like. It's just a simple table, but man, is it powerful. You go down the list of critical controls. Is File Vault on? Yep, green check. Is there a limit on login attempts? Uh-oh, no there isn't. That gets a warning flag. This thing instantly gives you a report card for your whole fleet and a crystal clear to-do list for what you need to program into your MDM. Okay, so you've found all the problems, thanks to your audit. Now you get to design the solution. Task 2 is all about turning that action column from your checklist into actual formal rules that the MDM system is going to enforce 24/7. This table is where the rubber meets the road. You take a general idea like data protection, and you turn it into a specific automated rule. If a device hasn't checked in for 15 days, lock it down. This is how you translate your security goals into reality. This is the brains of the whole operation. And for your final task, you're creating the blueprint. You need to draw a map that shows your manager how all of these different pieces talk to each other. The laptops, the servers, Apple services. This proves you don't just know what to do, but you actually understand how the whole system works. So before you draw anything, you have to get this flow. It all starts with the device. The little MDM agent on that device talks to something called Apple's Push Notification Service, or APNs. Just think of APNs as a super fast mail carrier. It taps the device on the shoulder and says, "Hey, check in with your boss." That boss is the MDM server, which then gives the device its orders. And the administrator sees all of this happen from their console. That's the chain of command.
Excellent. You've designed the entire framework. But how does this stuff hold up in the real world? Against actual bad guys. Let's look at a couple of lessons straight from the field. This case is a huge wake-up call. It shows you the danger when the MDM system itself is the target. With the Pegasus spyware, the attackers didn't hack the iPhones directly. No, they were smarter. They hacked the management system and used its own power to push their spyware. The lesson here is so important. Your security tools are now the crown jewels, and you have to protect them like crazy. But the wins are just as powerful. I mean, look at this. IBM rolled out over 100,000 Macs with MDM and cut their IT support costs by 30%. Microsoft uses its own tool to force encryption and updates for all their remote workers. And just recently, a fintech company used MDM to check if a phone was jailbroken before letting it near their banking app. This stuff delivers real, measurable value.
And with that, mission complete. You've diagnosed a problem, you've built a comprehensive solution, and you've seen how it applies in the real world. Seriously, congratulations, intern. Let's do a quick debrief on the skills you just unlocked. If this were a real project, this is how you'd be graded. And check it out. Knowing the tech is only part of the puzzle. The quality of your policies, how clear your diagram is, how well you document everything. That stuff is just as important. It's about being a solid engineer and a great communicator. So let's make it official. Achievements unlocked. You've just walked through the entire process of being an Apple endpoint security architect. These skills, these hashtags right here, they are incredibly valuable and super in demand in the industry right now. So we're going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Everything we've talked about is for company-owned devices. But what happens when employees use their personal phones for work? That whole bring your own device thing? How does a company protect its data on a device it doesn't even own without crossing a line and spying on its employees? That right there, that's the next big challenge, finding that balance between security and privacy. Something to think about.